What's up, viewers? Today I have something very exciting in store for you. We are building a cat button app. That's right, tap a button and get a new, adorable cat photo. As you may already know, developing great apps often requires exchanging data with remote servers. When apps do this, they are said to be interacting with an application programming interface, or API, which includes usually many web services. As a first step in getting you more familiar with web services, we're going to interface with the simplest API I know, the Cat as a Service API. It has a single web service that returns a random cat photo. Now then, let's get to it. Open XCode, create a new XCode project, single view app, give it a name, I'm going with Cat Viewer, and save it wherever you like. Now we're in a new project. Let's jump right into the storyboard. Let's start down here in the component list. Make sure you're on the third tab and filter for button. Grab a button and drag it to the storyboard. Use this ambiguous little button down here, second from the right, to add some layout constraints. We're going to add constraints to the top, left, and right-hand sides, effectively setting the margins to 0. Type in 60 for the height, and you'll notice it automatically selects the height checkbox. Click Add 4 constraints at the bottom. Let's set the title of our button to a cat emoji. Activate the title field and type Control, Command, and Space at the same time. That should open the emoji keyboard. Filter for cat and grab whatever cat emoji you like best. Bump the font size to 40. Now let's add an image view. Filter the component list for image and drag the image view into the project. We need to add layout constraints to the image view as well, but this time we're going to do it a bit differently. The effect is the same. Right-click on the image view and drag up to the cat button and let go. Select vertical spacing. Do the same on the left side, selecting leading space to safe area, the right side, selecting trailing space to safe area, and finally on the bottom, selecting bottom space to safe area. None of these margins are actually quite right, but we have the margin components. Select the left-hand side constraint and change the constant here on the fourth tab of the inspector to 0, and do the same for the other 3 margin constraints. Now let's add an activity indicator. We use this to communicate to the user that the next image is being downloaded. Filter the component list for activity this time and drag an activity indicator on top of the image view. Set its style to large white and select Hides when stopped. Let's also set the color to black so we can see it on the white background. The activity indicator has a fixed height and width that can't be changed. Therefore, we don't need to set all 4 margins. We only need to set vertical and horizontal alignment, and we can do that with this other ambiguous looking button at the bottom, third from the right. Add check marks next to horizontally in container and vertically in container, and hit enter or click Add 2 constraints. Now we need to connect the button, the image view, and the activity indicator to code. Luckily, XCode already created a view controller class for us, so we'll just open that in the assistant editor, which we do with this Venn diagram looking button here. XCode will automatically open the view controller class because we have the view controller active in the storyboard. If it doesn't, you can use the menu at the top of the assistant editor to find the right file. Right-click on the cat button and drag a new referencing outlet into the code file. Once XCode has a highlighted line, let go and then give a name to the outlet. Let's go with Refresh button. Make sure you follow my formatting when adding functions and outlets. You shouldn't use spaces and you should capitalize the first letter of each word unless it's the first word. This is called camel case. Hit enter or click connect. Next, drag a circle from touch up inside. If you watched episode 1, then you're already familiar with this. This is the button tap action. Drag that into the code right between these 2 functions or anywhere outside of another function. Let go and name the new function Did Tap Refresh button. Moving on to the image view. That needs an outlet too. Right-click on it and drag a new referencing outlet into the code right under the Refresh button outlet. Let go and name that Image View. Lastly, let's add an outlet for the activity indicator called Activity Indicator. Now close the assistant editor and go into the ViewController class. Here's where we will do the coding that responds to the button tap and downloads a new cat image, the heart of our cat button app. Before we download the cat image from the web service, we need a property to store the image in, so add that here. var image is a UI image ? Which makes it optional. It's optional because we don't have it until it's been downloaded. Add a new function and call it downloadCat. Take note of the camel case again and the empty parentheses and the curly brackets. Now we will add a call to downloadCat here in viewDidLoad, meaning we will download a cat when the view is first loaded. Add another call to downloadCat here in the did tap refresh button action. Now inside that function, where the magic happens, the first thing we need to do is respond to the user's touch. This is good user experience. self.activityIndicator.startAnimating and self.refreshButton.isEnabled equals false. We display the activity indicator so the user knows the app is doing something, and we will disable the refresh button. We don't want the user to destabilize the app by creating multiple download requests. Let's run the app and see how it looks. Command S for save, Command R for run. Great, it's already loading the first cat. Well, not really, so let's do that now. Back to the ViewController. We need a reference to the URL where the cat API endpoint is, so we'll make that a constant and call it cat URL. Then we'll use the simplest method of downloading a file. When downloading things from the web, it's essential that you don't do those kinds of operations on the main thread. To do that, you need an asynchronous operation, and you can create one using dispatch queue. Inside the block, we'll use NSData contents of URL to download the URL. This puts the contents of the image as a data object right into our image data constant. Now that we're ready to display the image, that must always be done on the main thread, but we're still in this asynchronous block, which some would call a background thread. So we use dispatch queue again to get back onto the main thread. This sounds complicated, but after you do it a few times, it becomes second nature. Just remember that downloading things should always be done in the background or asynchronously, and changing the UI should always be done on the main thread. Back on the main thread, we will cast or convert the NSData object to a data object and create a UI image out of that. Then assign the image to the image view we made in the storyboard. Whoops! We have a syntax error up here that XCode caught. XCode is an anxious little one and wants to fix it for us, so go ahead XCode. Thank you very much. Now let's run this again and see if we get a cat. Cross your fingers. Awesome! Press the button to refresh. Whoops, it's still disabled, so let's fix that. Right here, just do the opposite of what we do at the top of the function. self.activityIndicator.stopAnimating and self.refreshButton.isEnabled equals true. Okay, build and run it again. We have a cat. Check. Click refresh. Success! It animates the spinner, updates the cat, and hides the spinner again. It's fairly obvious that these images are skewed. Go back into the storyboard, select the image view, and using the fourth tab of the inspector again, set the content mode to aspect fit. Save and run again. Now the image is no longer skewed. It is pretty small though. Try another content mode like center. Ultimately, I recommend you try all of them and see what each does, but let's move on with center. Running the app again, everything is working properly. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty satisfied. In the next episode, we're going to look at how to make the download code a bit more bulletproof. But for now, just sit back, relax, and enjoy these adorable cats. If you enjoyed this episode, please remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.